One of the things I get asked all the time by my students is which mouthpiece should I buy? In this video, I'm going to go over my recommendations for the best alto saxophone mouthpieces you can buy for under $150. At any time during this video, you can find links to all the mouthpieces and gear I mention in the description below. If you've got a local music store near you that stocks saxophone gear and will let you try these mouthpieces, then I recommend you go there first. However, those local music stores are few and far between these days, and a lot of them don't stock very much in the way of saxophone gear. So I recommend people go to Amazon, which is where I buy lots of music gear and just about everything else. If you've got a Prime account, you're going to get free shipping and a hassle-free return. Before you return a mouthpiece, no matter where you bought it, there's a few things you definitely need to keep in mind. Number one is you got to put a mouthpiece patch on the mouthpiece before you play a single note. These are my favorite ones, but like pretty much any brand will work. These are good because you get 6 for like $9. The second thing you got to do is swab out your mouthpiece. BG swab. It's the A31. This works perfectly for the alto sax neck and mouthpieces. Swab out the interior of the mouthpiece, rub the exterior down so it's doesn't get all nasty. Another important thing to keep in mind is any hard rubber mouthpiece, you don't want to wash it in warm water because the warmth, the heat will discolor it. See the difference? At some point I must have washed this in warm water. If you're going to send it back, they're not going to take it if it changes color. Okay, the first mouthpiece we're going to talk about is this YAMAHA. This one is a 5C. Sometimes people say get a 4C. If you buy a new YAMAHA saxophone, there's going to be a 4C mouthpiece in the case. The 4C is their stock mouthpiece. It's designed for beginners. It's designed to be a mouthpiece that's easy to get a sound out for somebody who has not developed their embouchure very much. So if you're a beginner, that's the perfect place to start. You can't go wrong. The mouthpiece is like $25 on Amazon. I got a 5C just because I wanted something a little bit more open to play on. You'll hear in the clip, it's a very pure sound, almost like a classical sound. The following mouthpieces can be used by anybody. Beginners could use them, but really from intermediate up to professional, these mouthpieces are right at home. The first one we're going to start with is the VANDOREN V16. I've got a small chamber and a 6-tip opening. The tip opening is the distance basically between the reed and the tip of the mouthpiece. It's going to be slightly different on each one of these mouthpieces. In the description below, I've got a link to a chart with the different tip openings for all these different mouthpieces and the different models. So have a listen to me playing on this VANDOREN V16 6S. So you can hear in that clip that this mouthpiece gives you a bit more of a powerful sound. It can be really loud. I can also play soft and controlled on it, but it can cut through in a band. The small chamber basically means that the air is going to go through the mouthpiece a bit faster, which is going to allow you to get that louder, more projecting, cutting sound. If you want a more mellow sound, then go for the M version, the M for medium chamber. It doesn't come with a ligature or a mouthpiece cap, so if you don't already have a ligature, you're going to need to get one. I've been using this VANDOREN Optimum ligature. This will fit all of the mouthpieces I'm talking about in this video perfectly. I've had it for many years. I can't even tell you how many years I've had this, at least 15 years. These things last forever. So it costs about $71 on Amazon. It comes with a plastic cap, so it seems like an expensive thing to invest in. It just holds your reed on the mouthpiece. But the good news is it'll last you probably the rest of your life. There's another ligature that VANDOREN makes. It's like a simpler version of this. It's called the VANDOREN MO ligature, and that one costs about $40 on Amazon. Does the same job, holds your reed onto the mouthpiece, and you have to be very, very keenly aware of subtle differences in saxophone sound to ever hear a difference. Next up is the MEYER 5. This goes on the list because when I was 12 and I started getting more into playing saxophone, my teacher said, oh, you need to get a new mouthpiece. I was probably playing on a YAMAHA 4C. And he said, get one of these MEYER 5. So I went to the store, I bought one, and I played it. And, oh, that sounds better. I couldn't really tell much of a difference back then. Okay, so in that clip, you may have noticed that the sound of this MEYER is a bit mellower. That's because it's got a medium chamber. It's going to be a bit more of a challenge playing this mouthpiece if you really need to cut through in a big band or in a live band with guitars and stuff. But if you're playing jazz and you want like a mellow sound with a little bit of an edge, the MEYER is a great choice. Right now on Amazon, this sells for $111, and it includes a nice ligature and metal mouthpiece cap. This is the sort of mouthpiece that you can use in a lot of different situations. It's not too bright, not too dark. Next up is this D'Addario Jazz Select Alto mouthpiece. This one is a 6 with a medium chamber. They all, no matter what tip opening you get with this, they all come with a medium chamber. This one sells for $149 on Amazon, but does not come with a ligature or cap. Now, with the exception of the YAMAHA 5C, all of these mouthpieces will feel perfectly at home in the case of a professional saxophone player. Don't let the price fool you. They might not be ridiculously expensive, but they're definitely going to give you the quality and performance of a professional mouthpiece. It's very important to remember, though, that the most important factor in your sound is you. Now, you may have noticed as I was demonstrating all those mouthpieces that I sound pretty much the same on all of them. That's because my sound comes mainly from me, not so much from the equipment I'm using. It's a combination of the work I've put in to develop my sound, plus the concept I have in my mind of what I would like the saxophone to sound like. If you're not sure yet exactly what you want your saxophone sound to sound like, I recommend listening to a lot of good saxophone players as much as possible and kind of honing in on the sound or sounds that appeal to you most. This way, when you play, you've got something to shoot for. Now, some people say, well, I've already got a mouthpiece. Do I need to get another one? Probably not. As long as you've got a good, solid mouthpiece that works, that makes a good seal with the reed and allows you to express yourself and get the sound you're looking for on the saxophone, then stick with that. Some people, they have one mouthpiece, they use it for their whole lives. I know some great saxophone players, they've been playing the same mouthpiece for 30, 40 years. Now, any one of these last 3 mouthpieces I showed you could be the last mouthpiece you ever buy. But what fun would that be? If you like this video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. If you want to learn about some more gear that I use and recommend to my students, click on this video right here. I'd love to hear from you in the comments below. Let me know what mouthpieces, reeds, ligatures you're using that are working for you. Thanks for watching.